Most of the time when someone says they were sandbagged, they don't mean it literally. Today at the Air Force Academy commencement in Colorado Springs, President Biden tripped over a sandbag and fell. He'd just been handing out diplomas and giving what the New York Times described as a, quote, energetic speech. But because this wasn't the president's first stumble, and he is 80 years old, the incident, fairly or not, has gotten a lot of attention and raised questions. CNN's Phil Mattingly is at the White House for us tonight. So I understand the president just got back to the White House. What did he say about this?
Yeah, Anderson, the president had several hours on Air Force One to think through his response before he met reporters on his way back into the White House from Marine One, and he chose levity. And he pointed a very clear finger at the guilty party. Take a listen.
I got sandbagged. No breaking.
Adding a little jig there at the end to try and connote, I think, the energy that we saw for most of the day at the Air Force Academy. And I think when you talk to White House officials, they make clear that they believe he's fine. Everything they've seen and heard from the president is that he's fine. His real focus on the way back was ensuring that the issue that has really kind of dominated his agenda over the course of the last several months, that debt ceiling agreement, actually got across the finish line in the U.S. Senate. At this moment, senators are voting on amendments to get to the final passage of that bill, get it across the finish line, much like he did with the House vote last night. The president is expected to watch tonight. So is his team as well. That, more than anything else, is their priority, making sure that gets to his desk in the coming days before that June 5th deadline, not necessarily the fall a few hours ago.
How was it initially handled by the White House?
You know, it's interesting. White House officials were very quick. The communications director, Ben LeBolt, very quickly getting to Twitter, making clear that the president was okay, making clear that the sandbag was what actually was the issue where the president tripped over. The president in the video, if you watch it, points to the sandbag. I think the irony to some degree of this, and you referenced what was said in the New York Times report, this tradition, which is something that spans presidencies, and a president going to a service academy graduation, not only includes remarks, the president spoke for over 30 minutes, but also includes standing there and exchanging salutes, shaking hands, and handing the diploma to every single present member of the graduating class. That's hundreds of cadets today, something that went off without any issues whatsoever. It was when the president handed out that last diploma, he turned around to walk back to his seat to finish the ceremony, that he tripped. So it was a very long day, several hours. The president engaged throughout the entire time. It was when it was over that he actually tripped. But according to White House officials, totally fine, Anderson.
All right, Phil Mattingly, appreciate it. Whatever problems the president may have, he does not have the problem that Republican presidential candidates and soon-to-be candidates now have. Candidates that is not named Donald Trump. All the rest now have to worry about standing out in a field that's already crowded and about to get even more so next week.